Prologue, The Missing Blueprint. In January 1943, a New York hotel room was raided by federal agents. Inside, an old man lay dead. No family, no witnesses, just silence. That man was Nikola Tesla, once hailed as the greatest inventor alive. Inside his safe, agents found blueprints, a design for a weapon unlike anything the world had ever seen. Tesla called it Teleforce. The Pentagon would later whisper a more chilling name, the Death Ray. And just as quickly as it was found, it vanished. Buried in archives, erased from textbooks, and locked behind top-secret government vaults. But why? Act 1, The Weapon of Peace. In 1934, Tesla stood before reporters and made a bold claim. "My invention will make war impossible." His death ray, he said, wasn't meant to kill, but to protect. A wall of invisible energy beams that could destroy any enemy engine from 250 miles away. He believed no nation would dare attack if everyone had this technology. In his words, it will surround each country like a glass dome. No more invasions, no more war. But peace doesn't sell. And Tesla? He wasn't talking to the press. He was warning the powers that be. Because behind the curtain, governments weren't listening for peace. They were listening for power. Declassified FBI memos from the 1940s describe his work as defensive beam weapon. But military minds saw offense. War empires don't thrive on safety. They thrive on fear. Act 2, The Investor Betrayal. Enter J.P. Morgan, America's richest banker. Once he funded Tesla's wireless towers, believing there was profit in wireless power. But when Tesla revealed his goal, free energy for all, a machine that could protect nations without armies, Morgan pulled out. Why? A personal letter from Morgan would later reveal the chilling truth. "I can't fund a machine that ends war. My steel empire feeds on conflict." Tesla nearly broke, begged for just $50,000 to complete the device. Morgan gave him nothing. Other investors turned away too. His patents were expiring, his labs falling apart. But Tesla didn't stop. He moved into a small room at the New Yorker hotel and kept building, in secret. And what he created there terrified the US government. Act 3, The FBI Raid and Lost Protege. On January 8, 1943, Nikola Tesla was found dead in room 3327. Alone, 86 years old. Within hours, the FBI arrived. They confiscated everything: notes, machines, drawings, and locked crates. The search was conducted under Operation Project Nikola, classified for decades. The man assigned to examine Tesla's devices? Dr. John Trump, a physicist from MIT and uncle to a future US president. Trump's report called the device plausible and potentially dangerous. Then he went silent. Shortly after, the most critical documents, Tesla's blueprints and prototypes, vanished. A coincidence or something darker? One FBI file, number 100-19703, refers to practical particle beam weaponry. But to this day, the government claims there was nothing of military value. And yet, in the very next decade, something strange began to unfold. Act 4, The Cold War Cover-Up. 1958. Amid the Cold War, the U.S. launched Project Seesaw, a government initiative to develop particle beam weapons. The technology, strikingly similar to Tesla's lost designs. Then came the Soviets. Spies infiltrated U.S. labs and stole the plans. But Washington didn't panic. Instead, they pointed fingers at a dead man. A CIA memo from 1960 reveals the cover-up. "We used Tesla as a scapegoat to hide our program's failures." The very man who dreamt of a future without war was now being blamed for escalating it. His invention, meant to protect humanity, had become a blueprint for destruction. Act 5, The Ghost in Modern Tech. Today, we have railguns, directed energy weapons, orbital lasers that can target locations from space. Military officials claim these are new breakthroughs. But the core physics behind them all trace back to Tesla. His principle of focused energy projection, once mocked, is now a cornerstone of modern weapons development. But still, no one talks about the original, the real death ray. Why? In 2016, a Freedom of Information request unearthed something strange. 3 government crates labeled "Property of Nikola Tesla, do not open until 2045." What could be inside? Original schematics, a working prototype, or something even more dangerous? Conclusion: they erased him. Tesla didn't just invent, he envisioned a world beyond war, beyond greed. But that dream wasn't profitable, wasn't controllable, and so it was silenced. And every time we fire a new energy weapon, every time a satellite beams invisible force toward Earth, we're not moving forward. We're just unlocking old secrets, ones they try to erase. Because Tesla didn't fail, he was buried. And somewhere beneath vaults and red tape, the death ray still waits for the world to be ready. If you believe the truth deserves to be heard, like, comment, and subscribe, because the more we uncover, the more they'll try to bury it again.